This is Maryam Khan. Welcome to another episode of the Info Corridor Talk. Dear viewers, as we know that the nature of warfare has been transformed and from fourth generation wars that dominated the battle of space during Cold War, we are now living in the age of hybrid warfare. Hybrid warfare seeks to exploit internal as well as external security threats to incapacitate enemies' ability to respond to aggression or coercion. Since the dawn of 21st century, Pakistan has been the victim of enemies' hybrid tactics. To talk on the practical manifestations, implications, and challenges posed to the security of Pakistan, we have with us Honorable Lieutenant General retired Naeem Lodhi Saab. Let me introduce our honorable guest. After an illustrious career in Pakistan Army, Lieutenant General Naeem Khalid Lodhi Saab has made as the Defense Secretary of Pakistan on 28th of November 2011. Moreover, back in 2018, he has been made Minister of Defense in caretaker government before upcoming 2018 elections of Pakistan. Apart from all these achievements on his distinguished military services, he has been conferred the award of Hilali Imtiaz. Beside presenting the Pakistan's narrative before the world on local and international media, he writes on security issues affecting Pakistan. There is a lot about him to tell, but I am short of words. Sir, thank you so very much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
So, as the international media always talks about that Pakistan is in a state of war, can you please briefly tell our viewers about the nature of threats Pakistan is facing or what kind of threats that are being faced by Pakistan?
Thank you very much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, I'm grateful for your very gracious introduction. Once we talk of warfare, and you talked about generational warfare, fourth generation, and then you talked about hybrid war. Let me clarify one thing for the viewers and those who are interested to exploring what is a generation warfare and what is hybrid warfare. Actually, this generational concept is different from the hybrid concept. In generations, once we talk of first generation, second generation, and we are nowadays talking about fifth generation warfare. So it is more dependent on the prevalent equipment available, the technology which is available, and the way the wars are being waged based on new tactics, which are dependent on the new technologies, basically. Just to give you a small brief, first generation warfare was once we read about Roman phalanx and legions. Then second generation was the trench warfare, where mines were laid and there was barbed wire, and then the machine gun. Then came aeroplane, then tanks. That was third generation warfare. I'm putting it in very concise terms. And fourth generation, as you said yourself, once the battlefield blurred and you didn't know that where is the front of warfare, and it was in the depth by fifth columnist and resurrections and such like things. And fifth generation warfare is more about media, disinformation, misinformation, psychological warfare, which was before also, but a new form of psychological warfare, and then cyber war and employment of Facebook, Twitter, artificial intelligence, data mining. So all these things together, they are fifth generation warfare, and maybe we'll be talking about sixth generation also very soon. But this hybrid concept means that whatever warfare tools are available, starting from fourth, fifth, and sixth, if we use all of them, the kinetics and non-kinetics and information and anything you can think of, that is hybrid war. And why is hybrid war so popular and prevalent nowadays? Because open wars have become expensive, both politically and economically. So it is non-affordable, you can say. And this hybrid war at times is imperceptible. The nation or the people being attacked at times, they do not know that they are under attack. And therefore, you can keep doing whatever you want. So this nature of threat, which you just talked about, the crux of your question, we are facing a combination of a number of threats. Economic threat is probably one of the largest that we are facing. There is a military threat. There is psychological threat, media threat, cyber threat, and the most, I would say, the potent threat And the most dangerous threat for us is our perception management by others. Especially the youth is very much vulnerable to this. Some of our enemies are trying to modify the perceptions of our people and trying to belittle Pakistan in our own minds. So this is the most dangerous attack, and I will talk more about it as we move further. So, as we say that the largest interest is the welfare and the well-being of the people of Pakistan, and the people of Pakistan welfare is dependent on how united we are internally. So this perception management attacks, which bifurcates various tiers of society, which bifurcates armed forces and the people. So these are the major threats which I think we are facing.
So, sir, what do you think are the main threats to Pakistan? Are they are internal or they are whether they are external?
Right. As you will understand, from my first answer to the first question, that it is a combination of internal and external. Actually, our, once we say that we have done very bad economically and our people, they have been looting the country and this and that. So we try to lump everything on internal developments. Whereas we fail to understand that actually we were attacked by economic hitmen, we were attacked by other institutions, some of the world institutions which are actually run by superpowers like IMF, like World Bank. So they have tried to strangulate us rather than to help us. This is my perception. I can be wrong. And so internal and external is combined. Actually, some of our people say that let us put our house in order first, which is a very popular slogan. But my dear viewers, that who is going to allow you to put your house in order? Those are the external powers which will not allow you to do that, because they have strangulated you economically. They will keep you engaged militarily and politically. So they will not allow you to pay full attention towards your internal and your house which you want to put in order. So actually, you have to act simultaneously in geostrategy, in geoeconomy, in geopolitics. If you think that first let us do geoeconomy and then we will come to geostrategy and geopolitics, that is not going to work. All these things, they move together and they are dependent on each other. So our threat, the answer to your question is the combination of both internal and external.
Hmm. So, sir, as we know that we have a neighbor who is always trumpeting towards war, like as we know, we are having like they are having that war hysteria. So, what exactly are the dimensions of Indian hybrid war against Pakistan?
I think there's just few examples I will give, and that will ultimately make it very clear that what are the features of the war which they are carrying out against us. One, you must have heard about Kalboshan. What was he doing here? What was he doing in Balochistan? And the whole network, what were they up to? Then you know that we keep on facing attacks from Afghanistan border. And who does that? Who sponsors that? Who pushes all those people inside? So that is another thing. We are all aware of what EU disinformation lab has revealed. So what was that? uh, Disinformation, misinformation, trying to malign us, trying to tell the world that we are, very rogue nation, very bad people, and all that was false and baseless. And unfortunately, many of our own people, especially the youth, they were having full faith in whatever was coming from outside. So that was more dangerous. So we should be grateful to Allah Almighty that this thing was revealed not because of our efforts but because of somebody else, so that the youth that was misguided, at least they must pause and rethink all those things which they were thinking about the armed forces and about our other institutions, how the people were being separated in the name of politics, and how much bitterness was created within politics. So this Indian effort was in the economic field, in the political field, in the diplomatic field, in the military field. So it was a proper hybrid attack. and I think economic hitmen were working here, and maybe still they are working here. There was You must have heard that a lot of fires are erupting nowadays for the last 1 year. कि फलाने कारखाने में आग लग गई, that the fire broke out there. That also probably, in my opinion, is a part of the hybrid technique which they are using. So we have to be very careful. It is a multi-dimensional, multi-layered, multifaceted attack, and it is being done in a manner that for some of us, it is difficult to even believe that we are under attack. Actually, we are in a state of war, and all these techniques are being employed against us.
Yeah. Sir, as you have mentioned earlier, that Pakistan is facing multifaceted security threats. So, do you think that Pakistan leadership and policymakers have that capacity and capability and the willpower to counter these threats that you've mentioned?
Uh, I think the willpower is the collective willpower of the nation, the armed forces, and the government. I don't see any deficiency in that. The willpower is there, but willpower alone will not bring you success. Other thing is being aware of the this hybrid threat and hybrid war. I think even that is there. People do understand that what all I was talking, that all these instruments and tools are being used against us. But just having the will and just being aware probably is not enough. You also need to react properly in a cohesive manner, in an organized manner, in a well planned manner. Probably that is missing.
So, sir, as far as the domestic issues are concerned, we have already discussed the domestic security. So, I want to ask you about the international security concerns about Pakistan. That is it true that Pakistan's tilt toward Russia is due to Islamabad's never-ending security search for security? And as we have seen, that Russian foreign minister was here day before yesterday. So, what's your point on it?
You see, once we talk of security, one should be very clear that it is not all about tanks and guns. Uh, it is a comprehensive concept of security, and I'm very happy that our new generation is very well aware of it. Basically, you need to have social security for your people, economic security for your people, psychological security, and also physical security. So it is the overall welfare and well-being and the defense put together. So whenever we make alliances or whenever we have relationships, it is keeping all these things in mind. You talk of trade, you talk of political comradeship, or politically helping each other, diplomatically helping each other, and especially economic. Of course, it comes in trade and people to people contacts and education. Education is a very important facet of security. If your people are not educated, you cannot think that they are secure. But also you need physical security, and for that you need wherewithal, military hardware. So I think it is not only tilt towards Russia, or deepening relations with China, with Turkey, and we also want to open talks with Iran and Central Asian countries. Besides all, and we don't want to abandon our old friendships. It is not like that you go and you jump from one lap and go to the other lap. We need to keep the venues open. We should keep our friendship in whatever form it is, with America, with the West, with the Middle East. So all these relations are for these multifaceted and multi-layered relations, and combined they provide you a sense of security and also physical security. So it is a combination of all that that we are striving for, and to quite an extent we are successful so far.
So, at the end, I would like to ask for some suggestions and recommendations for Pakistan's security establishment and Pakistan's political leadership.
I would say that most important is first to understand that you cannot separate economy from politics and strategy. If we try to separate that, and we say that it cannot be done in tandem, that first let us become economically strong, and then we will do this, and then we will do that. So unless you leverage your position, for example, You say we are, strategically located, and we have a lot to do. We have done a lot for Afghanistan and other things for the peace of the world, and we have defeated uh, great menace of terrorism. So all these things have to be leveraged and then converted into economic terms. So if you keep on providing free services, for example, to other countries, diplomatically or strategically, and you do not get anything in return, whether diplomatically or economically or politically or militarily, then it is one-way traffic. We must avoid that. This world is all about give and take, and people, the international players, they take you seriously only if you have two, one of the two or both qualities. One, if you are useful to others in any form, they care about you. Two, if you are a threat to others, a real serious threat to others, then they again take serious. They take you serious. So we should not try to become a threat to anyone because we want to be friendly, but we must show ourselves to be useful, and in return must ask and demand, things that we also desire. And the last, suggestion would be, I am not in a position to advise anyone, but my suggestion would be, if our leadership, both political and military, is convinced that we are under a hybrid threat, then they must create uh, an organization, a headquarter, which should contain all the expertise which is required to fight a hybrid war. There should be, the hybrid war should be planned. There should be defensive plans. There should be offensive plans, and there should be a well coordinating headquarter which should prosecute this war and also save our nation against this war. Unless we do that, if we think that ISPR is fighting hybrid war, or ISI alone can fight hybrid war, no, dear. Everybody will have to chip in. It is a whole of nation approach. It is we have to have economists, experts of economy, experts of politics, international politics, foreign relations, and so many other expertise. Only then we, under one roof, planning together, well integrated. Only then we will be able to thwart this great threat which we are facing today. Thank you very much.
So thank you so very much for your sagacious views and your
Okay.
valuable time.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. Allah
So,
Hafiz.
Officer. So, viewers, as our valuable guest concluded that Pakistan is having internal and external both threats, and we have threat from India as well. So, the efforts we have to make, they shouldn't be only not shouldn't be only military, but they should be economic, in diplomatic fields as well. Almost they should be in all fields. So we have to be very careful when, because it is these things are done in such a manner that they aren't even believable. As I'm talking about that US disinfo lab. So Pakistan has willpower, but it is not going to be enough, and it's not going to work like that. So being just aware of it or having the will is won't be just enough. We have to educate our people and to secure them, and alongside with the military security, obviously. So politics and strategy, they are not separated. They both have to work together. And if the leadership, like I mean political as well as military, both they I think have to create an organization to fight against these hybrid war and their tactics, and they have to save our nation like this. With that, I would like to end our today's show. Thank you so very much. Jazakallah.